Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 13 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I am coming into today rated 1077, and hopefully I can break 1100 in this episode. Let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent playing CKB and some numbers from India. And I'm gonna go for a Stafford if my opponent wants to enter it, but we have a Bishop's opening. Against the Bishop's opening, I'll just develop the knight, attack the pawn. And there are a few moves here. There's c6 to prepare d5. There's bishop c5, there's knight c6. I think I'll just prioritize development. Knight c6 and bishop c5. Very standard. We're entering some kind of Italian position. I'll play d6. And one of the ideas with d6 was to develop the bishop to pin the knight, but white prevents that. I'm going to play h6 myself, which is actually a dual-purpose move, preventing bishop g5, but also if white castles, I can play g5 and go for the pawn storm. But white's doing some slightly strange things. I think knight h4 just runs into tactics. Knight takes e4, hitting the undefended knight. Yeah, the saying goes that knights on the rim are very grim. And white is getting punished for this. Counter tactics like queen f3, I mean, really just knight f6 back. I'll hold on to the extra pawn. Same thing with bishop takes f7, king takes f7. The knight could always come back to defend with queen f3. So things are going well, up a pawn. White does want to hurt me a little bit. So I could castle. I could also, calculating bishop takes f2 and then takes, but there's queen e2. So I'm debating, like, do I want to castle or maybe just bishop e6? Bishop e6 has more benefit. So in the event of take and take, the rook can come to f8. And I can more effectively pressure f2. I should also mention that knight d4 might be coming soon. Hit the queen and the c2 pawn. So I have my choice. Knight d4 or rook f8 look very good. I'm going to play rook f8. And f2 should be falling very soon. Yeah, let's take with the rook. White's whole position is crumbling. Win the queen. Almost mating. King d1. Okay. That's game. Yeah, if king d1, I was going to play knight d4. So, pretty quick game. 13 moves. It was a pretty normal opening until knight h4, and yeah, I guess this is a common type of beginner mistake, like moving a piece to a vulnerable square, in this case, away from the center too, and yeah, it was maximum punishment based on what happened in the game. So let's keep it going. A nice start, up to 1086. Play e4 this game. And I do want to play aggressively. Let's go for d4. Black is playing a Philidor. So d4 is one of the most active ways to meet this opening. And I mean, we're actually following the Morphy Opera House game, which went takes and takes and takes and takes and bishop c4. The thing about taking the pawn is black could take back, and then I don't really want to trade queens. So I'm a bit more inclined to start with bishop c4. A slightly more aggressive way of playing. And then if takes and takes, looks like the pawn's undefended, but then black gets mated. So, okay, instead black takes on d4. Now I have to decide, like, do I want to treat this as a gambit and play c3? Do I want to take on d4, allow take and take? Both options look pretty fine, but I'm leaning towards gambiting. Offer the pawn to better accelerate development. And this resembles some sort of like Scotch or Goring gambit, where, yeah, white has more minor pieces developed. Black does have extra pawn, but yeah, white has some nice initiative now. Knight d5. Slightly reminiscent to the first game, with the queen being exploitable. So my opponent instantly goes back to d8. Now it's a question how to keep attacking. I'm kind of close to setting up this Laclede's mate, but yeah, the knight does block my bishop. So what to do? Queen b3 comes to mind. Bishop g5 comes to mind. Queen b3, I think, does a nice job of applying more pressure, also unpinning the knight. There might be cases where I play knight g5 very soon. And I think white already has like full compensation objectively. Like way more pieces developed. Black trades off their only developed piece. And again, I have choices. I can take with the queen, I can take with the pawn. This is also kind of interesting. I'm going to spend a moment just calculating queen takes b7. So it attacks the rook and the c-pawn. And I don't think black has a great way to defend. And this could lead to a mating attack, like bishop takes g2 or e4, walks into this, and then the king is going to be very exploitable. So feeling good. And to be honest, I don't know what I would do as black in that position. Opponent takes on g2. So let's take on c7. And I'm probably more interested in checkmating rather than taking the rook. I mean, maybe I can do both, like take the rook and then try and win f7. Yeah, I have discoveries, so it's another moment to slow down. At first glance, knight e6 looks crushing to attack the queen and the king, but knight e6 is queen d7. And this is double check, but then the king returns. And then bishop b5. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Also looking at bishop g5 first, which also looks very good. I'm going to play knight d5. Like, if I really want, I could repeat. But yeah, this looks pretty clean. Bishop b5. Oh, knight f6 almost works, but knight f6 is queen takes f6, defending f7. Oh, maybe I should have started with bishop g5. Because if I have my bishop here and the knight comes here, then I can take... Yeah, let's actually repeat. Maybe not the most efficient way, but... Oh, my opponent's deviating now. Well, now I can take here. And there's no way for black to block with the queen. I mean, queen c7 is legal, but then I take. And this is mate. Okay. So 14 moves, another quick game. Yeah, I probably should have played bishop g5. It's a position where white is kind of spoiled for choice. But the point of this is after knight f6, then double check, and after this, then take. And with the bishop here, it supports f6, and I'm threatening mate, checking the king, so if takes, it's mate. But nice game, some nice early aggression. I'm happy with the decision to gambit and develop quickly. So this brings me to 1095. Let's keep it going. Playing KMCHD. And I'm again going to go for a Stafford Gambit repertoire, which my opponent avoids. So we're following the same opening as the first game. Now with knight f3, I could Gambit. I could take, but this could walk into the reverse Stafford, also known as a Boden Kizuritsky. Let's go for this. This is actually a transposition into the Busch-Gass Gambit. And it's a risky opening. Knight c6. I am allowing white to take with the knight or the bishop. And I think objectively this is considered to be good for white, but it leads to craziness. I played this at least once so far in the speedrun series. This is very similar to the Traxler. The Traxler is a variation of the two knights, but in the Traxler there's still a pawn on e5 because the knight goes in this route. So I'm pretty sure the move is queen h4 here. I think in the last game I played this, I played queen f6, but I remember some detail that like we want to provoke g3 and then queen f6 and then there's no queen f3, if I remember correctly. So, and there is this move. And to be honest, I'm kind of on my own now. Like I don't remember much analysis or theory, but knight d4 does look very appealing because the queen is kind of tied down to defending f2. So let's go for this. Also hitting c2, so queen e3 walks into the fork. And white can't easily counterattack because I take on e2 with check. So the queen's still defending these key squares, which I do want access to. Briefly considering knight f5, but I think there's just more reason to take the pawn. Also briefly considering ideas like this. And castling is legal, but it walks into some discoveries. Yeah, let's go ahead and take. So very crazy position. Material-wise, I guess I'm down a piece. Both rooks are hanging. White's still defending against some mate threats. That's a question, what to do? I mean, rook f8 is a candidate move. Save the rook, attack the knight. I don't really want to repeat. b5 comes to mind. Yeah, I think this is a moment to slow down and definitely consider my options. And the idea of d5 and developing the bishop doesn't really work because then my knight gets victimized. And white is maybe threatening this. Although g3 there is queen e7. So what to do? What to do? Knight d4, queen e3. And then knight f5. Does this lead to anything? Queen goes back. Yeah, it's a really fascinating position. I mean, if I take the rook, I lose my other, or my own rook on h8. Another move that comes to mind is c6 to prepare d5. Support the knight, attack the bishop. It really feels like I need to act quickly here to make threats. So knight d4, queen e3. Queen won't be able to take the knight. Maybe then rook f8. Actually, I think, yeah, rook f8 is probably most flexible. So I'm not sure if I want to play knight d4 or cash in on a1. Let me just quickly check castling too. So it walks into discoveries, but gets a rook, or gets the king off the e-file, which maybe has some benefit. Like here, and then here, and then here. But I think the king is better on e8 compared to g8. I guess I have to worry about d3 too, attacking both knights. I'm just realizing. So rook f8, d3. I take the rook. I lose my knight. I win on f7. I'm considering queen e7 too. Another move that just came to mind. To threaten queen c5. I'm not actually winning anything. Yeah, weird position. I'm very scared d3 is going to come and I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble. So maybe do I repeat, like bring my knight back to f5 and then decide. Let's repeat once. Using some theme from the last game. When in doubt, repeat. Yeah, here white is maybe going to be happy with a draw. If I go back. Huh. Go this way. Again, queen e2. Any merit to d5? It's frustrating. Knight f5. This d3 move. I think I repeat and then I play rook f8 and hope for the best. I've burned too much time. But maybe white will want to play for a win and then blunder mate. Who knows? Okay, white is looking content with repeating. So rook f8, d3, I take the thing. Yeah, let's just go for this. So d3 or g3 are probably the most expected moves. If knight e5, then I'll be very happy to play rook f2. d3 is played. Now, yeah, this move does a lot, so I think I have to enter this line. And what's happening? So after take, I will be up a pawn, but my knight's in the corner. I have to go for it. Get rid of at least some of white's minor pieces. Yeah, sometimes this is the nature of playing such an opening like the Busch-Gass. Opponent will survive, and then it's a fight. Ooh, d5. I mean, d5 allows this with check. Oh, but then, yeah. I don't think I can resist from playing d5. King g8. Opponent's been playing well so far, so maybe I have to show them some respect. There's king f8, which might be the best move. d5 take, and then king e8. Trying to calculate. D5 is definitely the trickiest move. I'm going to play it. Because I want to accelerate development. And white just blundered mate in 1. Okay. Somewhat anticlimactic finish to the game. Could have definitely taken a different route if white took on c7. I was going to play king e8. And then that's actually interesting because white doesn't have any obvious... Oh, white has queen e5. Which I honestly missed. So maybe I should play king g8. And then white doesn't have any obvious checks to follow up. Because I'm covering d8 with my queen, I'm threatening the pawn, and I'm threatening mate. Just for fun, I'll toggle the eval bar. Engine says white is slightly better after h3. The only move to be slightly better. Any other move than black is a bit better. Interesting. Going back to this position. Yeah, so this is the top engine line. Takes king g8, h3, bishop e6, and life goes on. I do want to go back and see if there was anything obvious missed. So bishop takes f2. Yeah, this is the only way to justify allowing knight takes f7 is to take on f2 and go for this line. Queen h4 is the best move. And according to the engine, this position is a draw. Like the best line is to repeat, which I repeated twice, but I did not want to end my win streak. So yeah, rook f8 was suboptimal. White is actually much better after d3. And what did white do wrong? Queen c4 apparently is a bad move. White should just focus on developing, and then my knight's going to be stuck. Okay, eventful game. That was 17 moves, so I've won every single game so far in less than 20 moves, and I've also broken 1100. Let's keep it up. We'll do another. By e4. I did see this video recently featuring Anish Giri, where he offered people, I think it was $100 if they could survive for more than 20 moves against him. But so far, all of my opponents have failed to survive that long. So I've started this game with a Scotch. I'm actually not sure if I want to play mainline or let's play a Scotch Gambit. Bishop c4. This can lead into some very fun, aggressive variations. I think the main move here is knight f6 or bishop c5. If bishop b4 check, then I'll happily play c3 and gambit the pawn. d6 is actually a slightly passive move, blocking in the bishop. I think the normal approach is just to take the pawn, but I'm going to play c3, which is reminiscent to the previous game in the Philidor. Just try and accelerate development and go for some quick attack. And the benefit of c3, not only to develop the knight to c3, but it also enables queen b3, which could already be a nice idea. It is tempting to play knight e5, say, oh no, my queen, and then checkmate in 2, bishop takes f7, and then knight d5 checkmate. In this case, if I play knight e5, there's knight takes e5, and I just lose a piece. So what I could do actually is play h3, and if bishop h5, then I play knight e5. Oh no, my queen! Someone call an ambulance. Now black might take my knight, but if, let's say knight takes knight, I take here, and then knight takes bishop, there's queen b5, and I'll win back material. So this is maybe not objectively the best approach, but I gotta do it. I mean, it's not too often you can play such a move. Now, given my opponent's thinking, okay, I thought maybe they'd see my my idea, but they're gonna face maximum punishment. King e7 is the only legal move. And I'm pretty sure this is called Laclede's mate. There's a lot of different openings that feature this pattern, including the Safford Gambit. But yeah, that was nice. 10-move win. Up to 11-11. How many games have I played so far? I think that was game number 4. All my games have been less than 20 moves. Let's do another. Can anyone survive more than 20 moves? Playing with Doozles. We have g6. Okay, let's play bishop c4. There's a variation called the monkey's bum, which it starts as an attempt to 4-move checkmate. Black has to play e6 here, and the idea of this opening is to gambit the pawn, try and bait black into putting the bishop in the center, and then develop very rapidly. I think Gotham Chess made a video about this many years ago. And I don't think monkey's bum is actually the formal name, but I think that's what most people call it. So black, instead of taking the pawn, attacks the pawn another time. And I'll just defend once. So if takes, then I'll still be down a pawn, but I'll get some, hopefully some initiative, some compensation. Let's develop the knight. Okay, some aggression from black. Play bishop to b3. And one of the main goals in this opening is to eventually castle queenside and then launch the h-pawn. h4, h5, try and get the rook in. Okay, black finally takes the pawn, so we have the monkey's bum accepted. I have lost a center pawn, but white does have a pretty massive lead in development. And there's a few moves I'm considering here. I mean, h4 is probably the most typical move. There's also e5 to hit the rook. Also enables maybe knight e4. But e5, if black sees the threat and plays rook b8, I don't think it's the most productive for me, because then my pawn is weak. So I'm going to play h4. Multi-purpose, preparing this, also preparing this. Let's start with bishop g5. Attacking the queen and preparing to castle long. Use the now half-open d-file. So black saves the queen, but walks into a pin. It's getting interesting. There's some pressure against e4. I think castling makes a ton of sense here. Get the king safe, attack the bishop, align with the queen. And the bishop is tied down to defending the knight. So black should maybe play, I was going to say play bishop e5 was maybe a safer move. Pawn c5 walks into tactics, takes and takes and takes. Looks very good. Anything better? Yeah, knight e2 is a little bit too slow, like bishop e5. Yeah, let's take the bishop. I got some wooden shield. Now it is true my knight's attacked, so don't know if I actually want to take the rook. I'm very tempted to play knight d5. Allow black to take, but then after takes, the e-file's open, and there's some more mating potential. I'm still attacking the rook. Yeah, let's go for that. Like, taking the rook would have been totally fine, and I'd be up a bishop, but there were lines where then black would castle, and then it's harder to win, at least win quickly. But with this, I am technically down the exchange if, if black saves the rook. But rook e1 is coming, and I think very good things are going to happen. Very hard for black to prevent this move. You have d6, there's a funny line, rook e1, king d7, and then queen g4 checkmate. Black plays queen d6. We're on move 15. I really want to win in 20 moves or less, but it might be hard to do. Let's start with rook e1. Again, I could take the rook. But I'm going to play bishop to e5. Try and get this queen out of here. Also trying to get my queen in. Like queen c5, I can invade. Okay, now I win the queen. Anything better? I definitely don't want to take the rook because then I lose my own rook. So cashing in. This is my 20th move, so I don't think I'm gonna be winning unless my opponent resigns. Let's see. Yeah, the game will go on a few more moves. This is checkmate next move. Okay. 22 move win. That was a fun game. Yeah, maybe there were better ways to finish things off towards the end, but hopefully a nice illustration of this somewhat rare response to the modern. Because usually when black plays the modern defense, the pawn isn't so great on e6 because it creates a bit more weaknesses in black's position. And yeah, d4. The engine does not like this move. It just says black can take and be up a pawn. But again, the idea is to develop in a pretty aggressive and creative fashion and get some sharp position in the middle game. So yeah, going forward, I'm just curious if knight d5 was the best move. Rook takes d4, of course, is the best move. But knight d5 is the engine's top choice. So yeah, feels good to play such a move. So I'm wrapping it up here. This got me to 11-19. Hope you guys enjoyed the games today. If you have questions, leave them below. And I'll see you guys soon for the next episode. Stay tuned.